Hi, my name is Najibullo, and this is my first tutorial on Patreon. Today, we're going to break down this scene, how it was created, what materials and lighting were used, and we'll also talk a bit about post-processing in After Effects. At first, I wanted to make this lesson without voice, but then I decided to add AI narration instead. I hope everything will be clear. Thank you in advance for your support. Let's start by isolating the fields and moving them into a new window. We'll delete the material so it doesn't get in the way. Now, let's change the display type to segments to better see the mesh structure. Let's hide the world plane for a cleaner view. In this scene, we have two deformers. Let's disable the FFD and keep only the displacer. Now we add a noise shader, specifically the Luca type, and set a larger scale. The Luca noise works really well for creating landscapes, especially when you're aiming for smooth, natural terrain. The FFD deformer, on the other hand, can be used to gently adjust or bend specific areas. Let's take a look at the lemon animation. We'll scale up the object to get a better view of the animation. The movement forward is done using the standard Z-axis null object. The rotation is animated through an object. It looks like dynamics and wind forces were used to achieve this effect. We'll open it in a new window. Now, let's see how to create this kind of motion procedurally. First, turn off all the formula deformers and take a look at the bend deformer. In the strength parameter, we have added a field driver. Let me show you a new example. Add a cylinder object, then add a bend deformer inside it. And animate the strength parameter using a field driver. Field driver is a way to animate parameters, like the strength of deformers, using fields. It lets you link a parameter to the influence of a field, giving you more control and procedural animation. Instead of manually changing the strength of a bend deformer, you can use something like a linear field, and the strength will change automatically based on the field's position. We'll pick the parameters we need. Then add solid time mode. Oh, sorry, I forgot to select the sign type, so I added it now. As you can see, this has become procedural, and we can change its rate at any time. I also added 3 formula deformers for the 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. Y to make the top jump a little, Z to shake, X to add a little wave effect. Why the name of this object is Dior? Because I downloaded the perfume model and it had Dior written on it, and I left that name. Alright, Now let's talk about the lemons inside the facility and find out how they got there. As we can see, our lemon has too many segments. To reduce them, add it to a remesh. Now let's combine them into one object. Add a floor and a tube. Adjust the size if it's too large. Add cloner and set the mode to linear. Uncheck Use Object Transform. Use these objects as colliders and add a rigid body tag to the clone. Press play and see what we get, and hide the tube so we can see the lemons. Increase the count. It's very simple. And play again. As you can see, it's very simple, and we haven't even touched the rigid body parameters. Add them together to form a single object. The coconut was added in the same way. Okay, now let's talk about the materials. First, let's talk about the sky. Here is the usual material without changing parameters, only added texture to the base color and added color correct. But it is useless. The texture is a regular panoramic sky, where the lower gradient part from light to dark came in handy. I downloaded the floor texture from Bridge, a free program from Epic Games for transferring materials, textures, and models. Here is the basic customization, and I added some subsurface. I use subsurface a lot in my work. The rock material is also from the Bridge. Same here. I increase the roughness of the reflection a bit so the stone doesn't glare. I use the same material for the cylinder. Let's take a look at the materials that have been changed. For the yellow flower, add material to the subsurface and increase the radius to make it transparent. I didn't use textures because it's in the background and out of focus won't show up. And add some emissivity to make it brighter. Close it and look at the material parameters of the other flower. Here I also added subsurface for transparency. Radius is the distance that light can penetrate into the material and scatter. The larger the value, the deeper and wider the light spreads inside the object. The smaller the value, the closer to the surface the scattering occurs, and the object will appear harder. With this parameter, I added some yellow color to the outline of the light. As you can see, when you reduce the yellow, the color disappears. Okay, let's close, and now let's look at the material of the lemon. This model with its textures were also downloaded from the Bridge, about which I earlier said. Here I also added a little subsurface. This creates a soft, realistic effect. Let's look at the coconut material. It's the default here. I just reduce the reflection, and that's it. In the inner coconut material, I just added brightness with emission. With the materials sorted out, let's look at the Redshift post effects. I just added a little bloom for the glow. Sorry, forgot about the particles. These are the saw pieces. Well, there's a basic emitter with a bit of a speed bump, and added turbulence with a large scale. And I cached them so I could manipulate the frame. The plus of caching is that you can animate this parameter to control the speed and frame from A to B. I used a rock object with different sizes as a particle. Okay, now let's talk about the lighting. Sometimes I use a lot of lighting to get a good result. Let's start with dome light. Unlike point or directional sources, dome light shines from all sides, so it is well suited for studio and outdoor lighting. And here, of course, the HDR texture you use plays an important role. As you can see, the second material I put in just so it doesn't play any role. When you finish working on the scene, be sure to clean the project from all unnecessary things, unused materials, objects, and light sources. This will help to make the file cleaner, lighter, and avoid problems when rendering or transferring the project to others. The third material is gobos from Grayscale Gorilla, which gives very beautiful non-uniform shadows and lighting. Nothing here either. I gave a little glare to the middle of the product using thin size lighting. And this one to lighten up the top a little. Let's turn off the rest to be seen. This approach helps to highlight the shape and add emphasis without flooding everything with uniform lighting, as if it was strong lighting from the sun. As you can see, it only shines on the lemon. Okay, let's turn on all the lights and see the difference. And then we get to the boss. Here it is elementary. I add a little sharpen, and lens effect. And many different presets magic bullet looks with small values. And that's it. After, before. After, before. Thanks for watching. Hope this lesson was useful. Write your opinion in the comments to this post. We'll be glad to get back in touch. Have a nice day, evening, or night to you.